A small mistake of yours can make your test invalid. And that's why today I'm going to talk about the rules and regulations that you must follow during the Duolingo English test. Keep watching this video till the very end. Come on. Assalamu alaikum guys, Sohail Aziz here and welcome back to another video. Okay, so talking about the rules and regulation, the rule number one is you must be alone in a quiet room. Whenever you are taking the Duolingo English test, you must keep in mind that you must be alone in a very quiet room, just like this one. You have to be you have to be in the room all by yourself. There shouldn't be anyone else, not even your pets, because if your pets is or your pet is there, and your pet makes if your pet make any sort of sound, then your test will be invalid. So stay away from your pets, stay away from the people interaction for 1 hour during your test. You must be alone in a quiet room all by yourself. Rule number two, ear must be visible and uncovered. Your ears must be visible and uncovered during the test so that they can verify that you're not having any sort of earphones, AirPods in your ears, and you are giving the test all by yourself. And for those girls, for the Muslim girls who wear hijab, then that's an exception. Then they can wear their hijab, and it's absolutely fine for them. Okay, but for the boys, your ears must be visible, okay, and uncovered. Rule number three is your face must be visible and uncovered. You can now wear a mask. You can now wear a niqab if you are a girl. Your face must be visible and clear while taking the Duolingo English test. You have to keep that in mind. Rule number four is no headphones or earphones. As I mentioned earlier, you are not allowed to use any sort of headphones or earphones or AirPods during the Duolingo English test. Rule number five, no mobile, textbook, or pens. While taking the Duolingo English test, you're not allowed to have your phone, notes, pens, or any sort of those things which through which you can cheat uh, around you. You have to just throw away your phone and all the things which are used for cheating, so that your test will be valid. Rule number six is no copying or memorizing response from other sources. If you're giving the Duolingo English test, you have to speak spontaneously, you have to write spontaneously, and that's what the DET wants you to do. You are not allowed to respond to give an answer to a question which you have already memorized, and if you do so, then your test will be invalid. Rule number seven is no communication with anyone else. As I mentioned earlier, you have to be quiet in a quiet room all by yourself. So if you're having any sort of communication, if that's not about the cheating, and that's it. Okay, rule number eight is no writing utensils or papers. Okay, writing utensils or papers are allowed by this either sides of yours during the test, and if they're visible to the examiners, then your test will be invalid. Rule number nine, and this is one thing which I was really worried about, and that is do not look away from screen. You have to look directly into the screen. You have to be in the center of the screen during the whole test. And if you just look away like this or this, your test will be invalid. So this is something you have to train yourself beforehand, before taking going for the actual test. You have to take a few practice tests, and you have to just uh, prepare yourself so to stay on the screen and do not look away from the screen like this. Okay, rule number 10 is do not leave the test window during the test. Okay, so once you start your test, just do not leave the test window during the test. I don't know why would people do it, but yeah, if you do it by mistake, still your test will be invalid. Okay, rule number 11, do not use any predictive input method or grammar spell or slash spelling checkers. And one of the most commonly used software is Grammarly, and you have to uninstall that before going for the test. And if you're if you're using any predictive input method or grammar slash spelling checkers, then your test will be invalid. Just turn off all the predictive input methods before going for the actual test. Rule number 12: do not use any third party web camera softwares. uh, like nowadays every laptop has a webcam, and I think the quality doesn't really matter that much as far as your face is visible. So just do not use any third party web camera softwares. Rule number 13: disconnect a second monitor and close any software that enables screen sharing or remote access. If you're using the dual monitors, you have to disconnect the second monitor, and you have to just uh, you have to close all the softwares that enables screen sharing or remote access. And if you do not close that um, before your test, then your test will be invalid. Rule number 14: type on only one keyboard and use only one mouse. Okay, so most of the people use connect an external keyboard and an external mouse, and then during this they just use both of the keyboards and both of the mouses. And if you do so, then your test will be invalid. So if you're connecting a second or an external keyboard, then you have to use only one keyboard, and that should be your external keyboard. If you're connecting an external mouse, you have to use only that mouse. And if you use both mouses and both keyboards, your test will be invalid. You have to be super cautious about this, because you won't realize that you are making a mistake. And after finishing the test, and when your result is out, you will find your test invalid, and that will be really heartbreaking. So just follow this keep in mind this rule. And rule number 15 is speak for at least 30 seconds on the topics presented during the great speaking section. Okay, so when a question is asked during the speaking section, you have to at least speak about for 30 seconds. And if you speak less than for less than 30 seconds about any that sort of questions, then your test will be invalid. Okay, so these were the 15 rules that you have to follow before delivering the Duolingo English test. And if you don't obey one of these rules, then you will find your test invalid, and you will have to retake the test. That's it, guys. I hope you must follow all the rules, so that you will get your scores on the very first try. And if you have any sort of questions regarding the Duolingo English test, then let me know in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next one.